Hello, people. This is episode 3.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Georgia's back.
Hey, guys.
Xan is here.
My throat is a bit rusty because, by the time this comes out, it'll be a week after, but
Yeah.
the England match, I was shouting a lot.
Yeah. It'll be 2 weeks by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hope nothing bad is still happening by then.
Bro.
Right now, it's a bit of a shake. Yeah, we were just talking about the madness that's been happening because of the match. And it's a bit of an odd one. And there's just certain things that I feel like, even what I was saying, like my sister, she's only 8 and she's asking questions like, oh, why is it bad if they lose and stuff like that. And you have to explain like why people don't like other people for no, like there's no specific reason, you know?
Exactly.
Like how do you explain that to children? Or even kids that will imagine they're at Wembley, they're at the match, they're in the stadium, and then they have to run or they have to rush out because they're with their parents.
They see that and they're like, huh?
Or they're seeing it while they're walking home, or they've gone to the pub with their family. Like, how do you can't tell them anything, you can't explain anything.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's a hard day.
No, but my love and support goes out to Saka, Raheem, Rashford, Sancho. Like, they shouldn't have got what they got. Like,
but we knew it was coming.
Exactly, and that's the saddest thing. Like, as soon as Rashford missed it, I had a knot in my stomach because it's like, shit, I know what's coming.
Yeah.
And it's like, that feeling shouldn't be normalized.
Yeah, not at all. Like, you shouldn't have to feel like
this is what's been like.
Not because you know, like, you don't feel bad, obviously, because obviously it's a match, innit? But like, we
it's
care
less
football, about the game.
It's a game.
And more about the fact that we know what's coming race-wise.
Yeah.
After the game, if they lose, and it's a bit of a sticky one because even my grandparent, he wanted them to lose, but he was like, I just don't want them to lose and have a reason to get at the players.
Yeah.
Because like he couldn't care less about England. But
the funny thing is, they were all like superheroes the weeks before they were scoring,
right,
and all that stuff, and assists, and then this one time they missed penalties, which is normal. Like, you have to think. This is why I don't understand people who can't be empathetic. Like, put yourself in their situation for just a moment. That stadium was packed out. Not only do you have people watching you, so like watching your performance, it's on TV. The world's watching you. And when, I think with athletes especially, when they're nervous, it affects their legs.
Of course.
So like, you can only imagine
what they're going through.
Exactly.
Or how they're feeling in that moment.
Exactly.
Especially when you might have played 90 minutes, you didn't, because they came on in the last like 2 minutes of the extra time.
Yeah.
But like, you're still nervous. So and everyone is staring at you, and you know that. So
like, I get self-conscious when one person's staring at me. Imagine tens of thousands eyes are on you.
Right. And you feel like the weight of the world is basically on your shoulders.
On your shoulders. And you put that on yourself.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like self-inflicted type of thing.
Because even afterwards, obviously, Saka was crying. I was like, you can see the pain that he's already going through for himself.
100%.
Like, imagine how much he's already kicking himself. And then you're just going to add to that.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Like, you don't even look at the positive side of things, of the fact that we've got to the final.
Yeah, for the first time
for in 55 years, isn't it? But hey. But
football,
yeah, no. It's just exposed again how insidious racism is within this country. Because before BLM, I feel like a lot of people was like, oh,
in denial,
racism, oh, that's a US problem,
yeah.
And it's just blatant now.
No, because
it's always been blatant, but like, social media is exposing it more.
Yeah, it was necessary though, because even I said to you as soon as it happened, and I was like, well, last year BLM, this year this. Like, I feel like it needs to be shown. Everything happens for a reason. It'd have been great if they won, but they didn't, and they didn't for a reason. Look what the aftermath is.
Yeah,
like, they would have been heroes if they won.
They wouldn't have been heroes.
You don't think so?
I told you.
And just until the next
match.
They
got through the group stages because of Sterling.
Yeah.
Oh, Sterling carried the
and
team.
Saka, and yet Harry Kane was on the front pages and everyone was talking about him. So even if they won, I still think they wouldn't have been heroes. Obviously, like, to people that aren't deemed as racist, they're gonna be heroes. But even in front of racist people, it's always gonna be Harry Kane.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
If you, to like proper football fans, I don't understand why Harry Kane was the captain in the first place.
I've been saying this.
Because if I'm not being funny,
I said this to my sister.
Anyone else could have been.
Sterling should have been captain.
Sterling should have been captain, but that's never gonna happen. Henderson should have been captain, but he was injured. Even the younger players Maguire could have been captain. Like there's Kyle Walker could have been captain, but again he's black, so they're not gonna like. I'm not being funny. I keep you when we was watching the Denmark match. I told you like in regards to Harry Kane, he's lazy. Don't really say much. So I think even if they did win, they still wouldn't have been heroes.
And the thing is,
they would not.
But the thing is, say Sterling was captain, they'd be like, oh, but he's Jamaican. He was born in Jamaica. Why should he be captain? He don't represent us. That's how some of them would have carried on.
They would have done the same thing. They still would have had a reason
to be
because racism is racism. Yeah. Regardless of whether they win or lose, you're right. They would have had a reason to say something negative. And the funniest thing is that I was saying, oh, I'm waiting for the newspapers to see what the newspapers say. And then the Sun put out, "We stand with you." I said, pardon?
The Sun?
Yeah. The four of them on the front page, we stand with you. We stand. Who do you stand with? Because the week before, you were slandering. So it's when it pleases them, you know? When it pleases them. Oh, we'll be on this person's side today. We'll be on that person's side today. But at the end of the day, we know who supports the newspapers.
And they're only doing that to get, like, increased readership.
Of course. Because they know who's going to pick up that on the front page.
A lot of racist people put that up. Boris Johnson put it up.
Oh, yeah, Pretty Patel put that up.
Do you know, I felt sick to my stomach when I saw her say that they don't deserve it or something like that. I was like, babe, was you not just
saying that taking a knee is just politics? Yeah.
Pardon? Was we in the same universe when you said that, or were you reborn? Like, I don't, you know. But at the end of the day, that's marketing. You know, she knows what's gonna get her viewers.
And then talking about the police are gonna investigate it. You need to check your police force first of all.
Right. Because when they were running through London, standing on the top of buses and all, I didn't see no police. Did you see police?
No.
I did not see not one piece of police.
What? Peaceful protest.
But anyway.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to
just put that out there.
We'll get out of that situation. I don't really have anything else to say to it. But I feel like it was necessary. I feel like it's needed for people to see what it's really like.
Yeah.
Because people will deny it until the day they die. I was never.
I don't think I think everyone knows they just sugarcoat it. Because before they would just say it's not as bad as the US. Because the US, there's certain parts that are blatant. Even though in England, there's certain parts that are blatantly racist. It's still deemed as a multicultural society.
Yeah.
But then again, only 3% of the population are black people, and I think probably like 10 overall are from ethnic backgrounds. But obviously, in predominantly white areas, because they don't really have a lot of ethnic people, it's the norm for them to be how they are. So that's why they would say, nah, we're not. Because to them, racism is them like punching you up.
Beating you up, yeah.
But to them tolerating you is them showing that they're not racist.
Yeah.
But tolerating and believing that someone is as equal as you is two completely different things.
Yeah.
And it's seen in how you act when things don't go your way. Because, like, you know, it's like if you meet someone, you don't see their true colors within the first 6 months. It's after that when they start to get comfortable around you and they feel like they can say certain things, or if they get angry or a problem happens, that's when you see how they really act in certain situations. You see how they really feel towards you. It's the same thing with racism. Sometimes, and a lot of the time, because of the year that we're in, is microaggressions. Like, you don't see it straight away, but things like this, when things don't go their way and they get mad about it, it's blatant how you feel and how you act.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what they would have said that they're not. Like, people feel like to themselves they're not, because they don't feel like they're actively doing something about something that they know is in the back of their mind, subconsciously, that they feel. Like, we've all been there to a point where, like, you might see someone walk across the road when they see you, or for like just give you a weird look when they walk past you. They feel like they don't even think about that they're doing that. They just do it.
Yeah. They don't even think that staring at you for like a good 3 seconds. Imagine, and it happens a lot when I've been next to her, just walking through town. Man will be like a good 20 meters and he's staring at me till he crosses me.
Right.
You don't think, like, you don't see that as a problem.
Right.
Because you're not staring at any other white person like that.
Right. But they don't even acknowledge other people in the road.
Yeah.
They've just acknowledged that we are there, you know? And we're not even going to talk about Exeter because that's a whole different story. But it's funny sometimes now, especially when I have conversations with people in London, and they're like, no, like, we're diverse, everyone's okay. And I'm like, have you been to certain places either in London, or have you stepped foot outside of London? We're not diverse.
Yeah.
People aren't okay with us. Like, they're not. And we're not as far into the future as we thought we were. And
we're not
tolerant and diverse as we think we are. Well, they think we are. Because, boy, when it suits them, they're behind us. When it don't, they're not behind us. Because even last year, I remember people were having problems with BLM because they were getting money, like monetary support from certain groups. And it was like...
Really?
Yeah. It was, yeah. They were getting monetary support from certain groups, and it's like, because we did a module. I did a module. I don't know if you was in... No, I don't think he was with me. I did a module on, like, who supports these campaigns.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, when you go all the way back, the people that are supporting the campaigns are the people that are on the other side of the table.
Oh, do you mean like political campaigns?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, it makes them money. Which is great for us, but at the end of the day, it's just making them money. So it's a bit...
But why is it a problem when BLM want to make money or even use that money? They need money. It's organisation.
Yeah, but I think it just comes down to, like, who you want support from. Like, sometimes you have to, like, party with, like, be okay with certain people. And some people just don't like the fact that you have to do that, which I get, because, like, even in school, we have to act a certain way because we understand how they're going to take us. But I know sometimes I'll have a conversation and some people don't like that we have to act a certain way to fit in, And I guess it comes down to that. You don't really want to feel like you have to conform to their standards or something that they're offering you because you need it, Like, we don't want to be in debt, but we have to take a loan from the government, otherwise we can't go to uni. Stuff like that. Like, I don't want to be in debt to the government, but I know I need to take the loan so I could get my education, So it is what it is.
I was just about to say that.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like, how far can you really get if you're not willing to play at least at some point both sides? But then when stuff like this happens, it's not fun. Sometimes as in, like, conforming to how we know they want us to act, or what they want us to do.
I think with that, I would say it's harder to not act both sides. Does that make sense?
It's harder to not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier, but depending on the person, some people could fit in and some people can't. So I think it really depends on like what way you're willing to take, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I feel like even growing up in London, we've just been socialized to be able to fit in certain places. Like I was talking to my mom and she was saying, you speak completely different. Like she was writing something, she's like, does this make sense? And my mom uses like loads of big words when she's writing like an email or something to certain people, innit? And then I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And I was like, but do you know what that word means? She said, no, but I just know it makes sense in that sentence. And I said, okay, I hear you. And like I can't get her because I do the same thing. Like I know what I need to do in order, like if I'm talking to my lecturer, of course I'm not going to talk how I speak to my friends, but I know they're not expecting me to speak how they speak.
Yeah.
So that to them it's like, oh,
yeah, they're taken back.
Yeah. And it's like, why are you taking, why are you,
Yeah.
Or even certain things. Like I remember I told you I saw the head teacher of my secondary school, and he was like, oh, what uni are you at now? He came late. Like I didn't know him from year 7. He came and tried to mess up the whole school. It didn't work. But he came late and he was like, oh, like, what did you do afterwards? Because I went to the college that's right next to my secondary school, and the college is like known to be terrible, isn't it? So they weren't expecting big things, great things.
Oh yeah.
He was like, oh, and I was like, oh, I'm at Exeter. He was like, oh.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because my mom kind of had that with like the moms from school. Because how you remember me telling you, because you know how sometimes moms from school can be a bit catty. They act like the kids in the playground, to be really honest.
They do.
And they think that they're better than the other one, or because their kid's better and this and that.
Yeah, they live through their children.
Oh yeah, 100%. So like, there was one girl, and obviously like she was a good girl. She did well in school and all that stuff, and teachers loved her. And I didn't have like, how there's teachers that treat kids differently, like they prefer that over that.
Yeah.
Like they preferred her over me, but we're both at the same uni now.
Right. And it's hilarious.
And even when my mom tells them, oh yeah, they'll be like, what's Georgia doing? I was like, oh, she's at Exeter. Exeter.
Oh wow. Yeah. And they think it's a good thing that they're so surprised.
Yeah.
No, that's an insult.
It is.
It's insulting. And the worst thing is you even get it like, you know what the worst thing is that I used to get it from family members. And like, I don't like when people I have certain family members, they just want to know my business. They don't care for me. They just want to know what Zara's doing. Do you get what I mean?
Like a compare thing.
Yeah, to compare their kids with me, innit? Which like, a lot of people do that. But don't do it with me. Yeah. Because I know the only reason why you're asking me, oh, what are you doing? Yeah. Where are you now? It's because you want to know my business. Yeah. But then when you hear my business, it's like they're disappointed that I'm doing so well.
Yeah, like I'm setting a standard, not just for you guys, but for myself. But you're here hating.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
But then again, if I could choose not to have to go to like the uni that we went to and stuff like that.
Oh.
Count me out because... it's way more difficult
than you anticipated.
Yeah. It's harder to not conform to those like norms and how society is, institutions and stuff, and the racism. But it's hard being in it.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be as bad.
I didn't.
As it is.
And for me, it's kind of, it's difficult because everywhere I've gone, I've had it easy, but like I've had it easy in the sense of I've known people have been welcoming to me. So it's like to go into uni when a good 80% of them aren't welcoming, it's like, damn,
And the thing is, and they don't want to be.
They don't.
Like I feel like majority of those type of upper class, private school student kids that I met when I was in London, or that I know from London, they kind of had like a willingness to want to know me. Like they still obviously were brought up a certain way, but like if you speak to them or have enough conversations with them, they'll be like, oh, they would become your friend, and then they wouldn't really have a problem with you.
Do you feel like it's because they're forced to, in a sense? Like, say they weren't growing up in London, say they were growing up somewhere like Surrey, where there's not a lot of black people there, whatever. Do you think they would be like that?
No, I
Do you know
don't
what
think
I
they
mean?
would be like that.
Yeah, no, do I.
Don't think so.
I don't think they would be like that. I don't feel like they would be like that because they don't have to.
Yeah.
And that's
what I'm saying, like the whole force thing.
Yeah, if I was asked that question before I went to uni, I'd have been like, of course, like, you know, like it depends on the person and all of these things. And then I got to Exeter and it really, if your parents have really made you feel like you don't have to be open and willing to know people and learn different cultures, you're not gonna. And you won't have to, you know? And unless you meet someone you really like and you become friends with, there's people in Exeter that they're white and they're friends with black people and they're still racist.
Oh, 100%.
Like, and that I don't understand. But
it's I've got a black friend.
Yeah.
So I'm not racist.
I told you. The tolerance thing.
Yeah, because they tolerate their black friends,
It's tolerant. It's not. I don't even know. To us, it's comments, but to them, it's just them saying it how it is. That's just the norm for them to say stuff like that because they don't understand.
Because they're so like blindsided by their ignorance and privilege.
There was remember, do you remember when we went out for New Year's and my friend's friend?
Yeah.
And you said, yeah. See, like, do you remember when I told you what you said in the group chat about the hair?
No.
You don't remember? Alright, cool. So Rashford was playing and he was playing a league game. I forgot who he was playing against. And obviously when there's games on, because all of us support different teams, we all watch football in it anyway. So he must have been playing, but Rashford didn't have a haircut. So he must have said, how's Rashford playing with that nappy headpiece? And only me and another person said like, I put like a shocked face, and the other person told me not to say anything because he knew I would react. Yeah. But then the person told me to react, messaged me in private, said, I know you're going to get onto him. And then he said, what? And I had to explain to him that that's a downgrading word, like you can't say that. And he went, but he didn't know. He genuinely didn't know. So he's like, like my bad, bro. I was like, nah, it's cool, but like your black friends need to have a word
to pull you up, yeah.
But remember, my friend who's his friend, he's not
he's
the type of black person to pull up his white friends. He just won't say anything. He'll just let it happen, kind of thing, innit? And he'll just say, that's how he is. So I think like with that, I'll just say like they generally don't know, and you have to explain it to them. Even if they don't get it, the fact that you explain it to them, in a way, they can't really say that they're in the right because they don't know how it feels. And I've clocked it with conversations like that. They get upset and they start to stutter because they know deep down
they're wrong.
No, it's not even that it's wrong.
They generally don't know
how it feels. Does that make sense? So I think that's
the guilt.
That's why I think with them they're more outlandish because no one really challenges them. Does that make sense?
But the problem that I have with that is that 5 times out of 10. No, the problem that I have with that is that 5 times out of 10, they're gonna do that again, and then say they didn't know. It might not be the same word or the same sentence, but they're gonna say something that they have a kind of inkling that they shouldn't say, and then be like, I didn't, like, I'm so sorry, or I didn't know.
Or they'll slowly withdraw themselves from those people and start
to say that it's their fault.
Crudely to
somebody
people they're
else
comfortable with because they understand them.
Yeah. And that's, because even the situation we had at uni with that boy that was in me and Sherry's social data class.
Oh my God.
With him, because there's this boy at our uni, he's like that, like that friend, your friend's friend. He's like that. And he doesn't he knows what he's doing is wrong. But he'll say something when comfortable. Yeah. And then someone has to be like, are you good? And he'd be like, oh no, like I didn't mean it like that, or I'm sorry. And like there's only so many times that I can feel like you're naive to it. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like fair enough if you're getting pulled up for different things, But say like you say the hair thing, and then another day you talk about skin color, and then another day you talk about how we dress. I don't like. It's like if you know that one thing you shouldn't say, maybe be a bit more cautious for something else that you feel like you want to comment on. And the problem is that they're not cautious. They just say it, and then they get pulled up, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
But why do you feel like you need to comment?
At all, you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
They've never been told that their comment has
It's a
no
problem.
weight. They've always been told to speak their mind. Hence why a lot of them everywhere really, they will generally have the weirdest of conversations, because most of their conversations are just comments. They're not really genuine conversations about something. So they'll comment about something and then they'll have a conversation rather than having a conversation. So I think that's what it is.
Yeah, but the thing is, with that guy from uni, it weren't a thing of him not knowing. It was more of a thing of he didn't want to understand.
You know, he didn't.
Because I remember posting something about it was about racism and white people, and I remember him replying. He was like, "But it's not white people's issue."
Yeah,
And
I remember that.
I didn't. I know. I replied. I was like,
I think you posted it to your story, and then I posted it afterwards.
Yeah, and I was like, so where do you think racism stemmed from then? And then after that, I was like, you know what? I don't even need to hear what you have to say. I've put him blocked.
Yeah.
But you're patient.
No, I had an argument with him. Because you know what? Yeah,
I'm not even gonna give you time to speak.
You know what? Yeah, if he didn't have if he weren't friends with some of our friends, I wouldn't have wasted my time. But the problem that I have is that how are you friends with some of the people that I call friends and no one has told you what you're doing is wrong?
Yeah.
Me and you ain't close like that, but you're very much close.
You're not too close, but close enough.
Right. Yeah. To think that you're comfortable enough to say it to me.
One contact away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't, and I will have an argument with you about that. And it wasn't even an argument. It was just like, here's some facts. Do what you will with that. Now leave me alone.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't. I don't feel like, and it's the balls that they have. But even like, that's what I was saying. They don't feel like they have to do anything because no one's told them that it's wrong. And I remember I was in a module in a seminar, and our lecturer was like, "No, I want you to speak like the confidence of a working class white man." And I was like, "No thanks," because they say what they want without any repercussions.
They don't. No.
Same things that happened yesterday. My dad was like, "But I don't even understand how they're acting like that. They serve non-alcoholic beer. They're not drunk. There's no reason. Like, you're full sober.
Yeah.
Unless you went to the match drunk, which I'm sure you're probably not now. It's been like 3 hours. So really.
And then the thing is, for me, it's just like, even if you are blaming it on the alcohol, if alcohol makes you like that, why are you drinking? Do you know what I mean? And this, just to talk on substances for a moment, like, if a substance doesn't agree with you, stop trying to pursue it, because you're just going to get the same result every time.
But people, especially humans, tend to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result.
Yeah. True that.
So, I can't really speak on substances. Couldn't tell you. If something doesn't react well with you, just don't do it, no. But